Why, hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anime Club. I'm Nick Knack.
The
With
bane
me
of my
is-
existence.
Shut up. The Great Lord Born.
I'm today's punching bag, not Seki.
Realm Shifter.
Welcome to today as we try to speedrun this episode as fast as possible.
Okay, no.
No.
I'm kidding. Can I make a joke here?
No, you're not allowed to have fun.
Alright, time to go get out of this dimension of suffering then.
And then they're sick.
Fucking shift then, bitch. Do it.
Shit.
Someone's constipated. So, this week we watched the second half of ReZero Season 1. Why don't we go around in clockwise, starting with Realm Shifter here?
It's depression. It's sad boy shit. I give it an approved.
That sums it up pretty nicely, Vorn.
I love this shit. Approved.
Alright, Seki.
I'm struggling because I liked certain parts of it, right? Like, there were certain jokes that I thought were really funny and moments. And I don't think it's a terrible show, but it's so far from up my alley that I would never have continued this, ever, past episode, 3, first of all. Memory Snow was the best episode of the lot for me, second of all. And look, I know I got fucking roasted in the comments last time on ReZero, but I don't know, I think this dropped to a meh for me. I didn't see the characters I wanted to see, and I didn't get the development I wanted that I specified at the end of last episode. I didn't get Emilia as a character, more so. I didn't get a lot of what I wanted. But it's not bad. I just don't like it. You know what I mean?
You didn't get what you wanted out of this,
Yeah, but
basically.
it's not on the level of Puella, where Puella is a masterpiece, and I acknowledge that, but I don't like it. It's not on that level. I'm sorry, it's not on the level of Puella.
So, first off, ReZero is a masterpiece. Fuck you, fight me.
I will fight you outside right now.
Come on, let's go catch some hands right now.
Bitch,
But
I
on the
will
other
use my
hand-
legs and you will die.
On the other hand, I do have to admit, I do see why you don't feel that way. I think ReZero as a series, and I knew this going into the series as well, is a series that is very, very, very specifically targeted at young men.
Yes.
Like, not in the shonen way, in the this is meant to call out young men kind of way.
Yeah.
Yep.
On that level, I understand where you don't necessarily see the appeal. But on the other hand, I think this arc is like, this is the gold standard for isekai for me. Like, I think this is the greatest isekai arc I have ever seen.
I don't know. I'm just struggling a little bit on the overall so far, obviously, because I'm kind of judging all of what I've seen, you know, and I wouldn't keep watching this. I don't want to keep watching this. Not really right now. I mean, you've promised me that I'll get more Lord Roswell next season, and that, will make me tolerant to watching it if it comes out again. But I'm not going to seek this out, ever.
And I get it. I also I also know this series is definitely a horror series at the end of the day. And I know you're not a horror person.
Oh, man. I genuinely have not watched something and almost vomited in a long, long time, and that happened.
Yes, it
Yeah.
actually did. I was there binging this with Seki,
And I hate you for that because you've unlocked a new phobia in my brain.
Mission successful.
Which scene was it, just wondering?
We'll talk about it next
we'll get there in the
episode.
spoiler
We'll get there
section.
in the spoiler
Okay.
section, but yeah.
I will say, I did not like the new opening. It felt more like an ending. I prefer the first opening.
Oh, I gotta say, I love this opening, actually.
Yeah, this opening
not like it.
opening is great.
Because it's very much so plays far more into the darker tone of this half of the series.
Yes.
It felt like
yeah.
an ending. I don't know, just it felt and sounded like
I can
ending.
I can understand where you're coming from it. Like it does fit the ending material, but it's the show's opening, at least for this part of the series.
I don't know. I don't feel like every opening needs to be fucking Eurobeat in speed.
I mean, fuck you. I like my poppy.
Do you like my car?
But that's just me. I also really do like the ending for this because it always seems to come up at the most not inopportune times, but the ending always seems to start because it plays in similar to how the JoJo ED plays in. but it'll start playing it when it does that. It starts playing in at the moments where the series just wants to kick you in the balls.
I didn't
Yeah.
even notice that.
Yeah, it does actually. Like it'll start slowly playing in the background, ever so subtly.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice. I didn't care for the ending either.
and for me, the soundtrack, like, one character's theme actually has the the T.H.E that Mozart made.
Okay, nothing was on the level of T.H.E in this
It
anime.
was literally in there.
But nothing is on the same level as T.H.E.
I disagree. I think this anime soundtrack is a masterpiece as well.
I mean, when this one came out, I was listening to it constantly.
Yeah, even that song that plays whenever he fucking like has that moment of horror, and that part like is so fucking iconic in anime. In my
Yes,
opinion.
it is honestly. Like this soundtrack stands out greatly to like other anime soundtracks, especially for myself.
I don't know. To me, ReZero is what isekai should be, which is breaking down a character by putting them in a setting. Putting them in a
I
setting.
disagree.
They need to putting them into a different setting.
I disagree.
I don't like isekai as a feel good show.
Yeah, but you can't just say isekai is supposed to be this.
Yeah.
You can't, because isekai is not a genre where it always has to be a deconstruction. Isekai is a setting, not a genre.
No,
So you
fantasy
can't
is a
say-
setting.
No, but isekai is a setting. It's not a genre.
See, but most of the time when there's an isekai and it's Iyashike, my first thought is, why did this fucking need to be
Yeah,
isekai?
but that's you. Not everybody feels that way. Some people really enjoy isekai. You can't just say that an isekai has to be a character getting
it doesn't
broken down.
have to be, but
Yeah, but you did just say that. You can't say that.
no, I said it's what it should be.
Yeah, he said
No,
he
you
said
you
should.
can't
He's-
say that it should be either. Some people really like isekai. Not all isekai has to be dark and depressing like Goblin Slayer and this.
Well, Goblin Slayer's not an isekai.
Yeah, Goblin Slayer's not.
Not
isekai.
not all isekai have to be dark and depressing. Some people like watching fun things. Some people don't watch sad boy shit all the time.
Yeah, I don't watch sad boy shit all the time.
I don't know. You like this. This is like peak sad boy shit.
This is incredibly peak sad boy shit, but I have my fair share of happy shit that I also like to watch.
I
Yeah.
have happy shit I like to watch, but I just don't care for the isekai element of the story whenever they do the happy shit.
Well, I think that's a you opinion, not a general populace opinion.
And
a
I
lot
said-
of people really like it.
I said it's what isekai should be. I didn't say that. I didn't unilaterally say, like, all shows that don't do this are shit. I think that's how the isekai genre is best used.
I don't know. I disagree. I see isekai as a setting.
All right. Well, do we have anything else to add to this topic? Or are we
Oh,
good?
I have to clarify something. Last episode, I said that the animation was bog standard, and a lot of people didn't understand what I meant, and I get that because I wasn't using it in the way that most people would think. That's my bad. When I said it was bog standard, I didn't mean that it was bad or that it was, like, completely just, like, non-noticeable, but I was, like, comparing it to other shows of a similar age and type, and I was like, it doesn't stand out like something like Demon Slayer does, but it's not bad. It's just, like, for me, it's really good animation, but it's not outstanding.
I'll even call you out on that a bit, because Demon Slayer was like 3 or 4 years after this.
No, that's fair, but I'm still saying, like, I don't find the animation to be outstanding.
I honestly think the quality really upped itself up, like with some of the scenes, especially towards the end there.
I don't know, I
First
watched
cut.
them riding that fucking CG dog.
I'm not going to call it CG
Yeah.
because it's very rare that anime CG is done well, so I'm not going to compliment that. But honestly, a lot of the other like hand-drawn scenes, like specifically towards, I think it was the last episode, where they were out in the open field, I think that they did that really well.
I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not even saying that they're mediocre. I'm just saying that they're not,
Yeah.
you know, like, what's the correct phrase? They are not...
Stylized?
No, it's not... No, this isn't a stylization issue. I just mean that they're not, like...
When did the director's cut come out, and when did the original come out?
It's hard, because the director's cut uses the animation from the Blu-ray release, which was probably about around a year after it released back in, I want to say, 2015 to 2016.
Yeah, because I did actually see a little bit of improvement in certain scenes.
Also, the
What's
dub
with
wasn't...
that?
The dub wasn't terrible. I did watch the dub.
Oh,
Wait.
the dub is considered pretty good.
Oh.
So, I know some of Seki's opinions later on, and one of my first questions when Seki brought up that opinion was whether or not she watched the dub, and I'm like, oh god, she watched the dub. Not because I think the dub voice actors are bad, but I can really imagine that some scenes in this arc do not work in the dub, because a lot of, like, some of what Subaru says can get pretty incelish.
Cringy.
Yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of that's supposed to come off really fast, which Japanese leaves a lot of room to do. But in the dub, I have to imagine English is a little bit of a slower language. You're lingering on that dialogue longer, and it's a lot more awkward.
But the dialogue still exists and is cringy and incelish. The speed does not affect the fact that it was cringe. The dialogue existed. It would have been just as cringe reading it as a subtitle as hearing it in English for me.
See, but it's the flow of that's why you listen to, that's why people, because I'm thinking of this because conversationally, there are some things that flow well in Japanese that don't flow well in English. That's why there's a lot of translation troubles. You'll notice in a lot of translated works, even if the scene conveys the same meaning, oftentimes the conversation plays out weirdly if you directly translate it.
Look, I understand that you think it sounds different in the Japanese. I get that. The flow of a conversation can sound totally different. But that does not change the fact that some of the things he said, just outright, are cringy and incelish. Like, the flow of the conversation does not change the content of his words, it just changes the way that you hear them, but the words themselves are the same, and some of them were not great.
Some of them were grade A cringe, and I watched the dub
Well, no,
along
because
with her.
this has to do with music and sound in the way that we're talking about it, because we're not talking about specific moments.
Yeah, we'll get into the argument, I'm sure, about the use of that cringe. But
I watched both the dub and the sub at this point, and while I can agree it's more cringy to just hear him speak it, it doesn't make it any less cringy to also just read it.
Yeah, it sounds better to the ear, I'm sure, but at the same time, the content of the sentence is the same, and it's fucking incelish.
Well, yeah, no, I actually appreciate the incelish nature of the content, but we'll get there when we get to the story spoilers, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I realize that I'm the divisive opinion here, and this is not my type of show, right? Like, this is horror. I don't like horror. This is depressing. I don't like depressing. This is sad boy shit. I don't watch sad boy shit. Like...
I mean, you liked Madoka, didn't you?
No, I appreciated Madoka for the fact that Puella Magi Madoka Magica was a masterpiece of animation that set a lot of standards and tropes moving forward in the genre of magical girl shows and subverted a lot of very important things and made for a good 12-episode season. Now, keep in mind, these are 50-minute episodes.
Yeah.
Being Madoka is suffering.
I have watched 11 hours now of ReZero, right? And while I can say I see that it's a good show, and I can see the character development and, like, the emotional stuff behind it, it's not the type of show that draws me in, and it just hasn't gotten me in the same way that other shows have. Like, Puella made me feel things, you know? Like, Puella made me sad, it made me upset, it made me mad. The emotion I have most frequently in ReZero is just, what the fuck?
Cringe!
Yeah.
And this does get back into my point earlier that ReZero is targeted at young... Because Puella is targeted just at people growing up in general, specifically young girls growing up. Mm-hmm. Like, that is part of the central theming of the show. So,
and no matter how much I'd rather not have a period and boobs, I did grow up female.
Yeah. So, I can see how Puella might have struck a chord with you a lot more than ReZero does, whereas... I'll get to it in the spoiler section, because I don't really want to spoil that too much, but there's a specific moment that I can very much tell for you was going to come off cringe, and I was, like, saying, you're probably going to hate Subaru, at least in this moment.
Look, I have a lot of feelings about Subaru.
Yeah, but at least I don't know if Vorn and Realm feel the same way. A lot of what Subaru says is like, if you ever get upset as a guy, you can kind of relate to how, a little bit unfortunately relate to how Subaru breaks down at times.
Oh yeah, especially since when I was watching it, some of the bad stuff happened to me.
It's weird, but it is definitely targeted at the male experience.
Yeah, well, that's not something I can understand, so I have not enjoyed it so far. Like that is actively not something I can change.
Because I can relate to some like lesser extent of like the irrational breakdown that he has, like with that scene, like with Amelia or whatever.
Obviously,
right?
Subaru ends up going and like fully breaking down, but at least the conversations in your head do play out a little bit similar.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
This gets into the issue I had last time. I just like okay, and I realize, commenters, that I am metagaming from an outside perspective. I am not in his shoes. I do not have his experiences, but I just don't agree with a lot of the choices he makes.
No.
And I understand that that's not the point, but...
This isn't the show where he joins a guild and becomes the hero of society. Yeah. This is the show where he gets his face beaten.
I understand that. I get it. I do. I'm just trying to say that I don't understand it. And because of that, I don't empathize with Subaru. I genuinely don't for 99% of this. There's like one moment where I said, oh, I know what that feels like. Just one. Well, two.
Alright, are we ready to get into the story section, spoilers and stuff now, you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright.
Okay.
Alright, well, try harder, everyone.
Like, comment, subscribe.